Good evening. It's time for our evening book study, well, whatever time you're watching it, of Rise of the False Gods. I apologize, I'm a little late. I had to get my evening tea to go along with my reading. So, I hope you're kind of excited tonight about the exploration of the concept of evil. And I've got to tell you, I've been looking at the material and it's so meaty, as it were, that we're not going to get through this chapter, I don't think, tonight. We may, but I don't think we're going to. So we'll probably be doing evil again tomorrow night. So let's begin with tonight's topic. If you are following along in the book, then you will see that we are going to be starting on page 31. I did talk to a friend of mine who has it on Kindle, and she said it doesn't match, and but she said it's easy to find it. So the heading for tonight's topic is A Question of Evil. In the book, it is on page 31. So, but before we go there, I want to go back for a second to last night because I missed out on trying to get a point across about our emotions and our responses. We were talking about being under the influence. Are we being influenced, or are we being inspired? And when I told the story about how I was experiencing a particular episode in my personal life yesterday, I reacted. There's two words: respond and react. React is in lower consciousness. It's when we come right back, like someone says something to us and we feel that emotional surge, emotion, the energy in motion, and we spit it out. To respond is to take in the information, to mull it over, to comprehend what you're talking about, and then you can respond. So if you are being reactionary, which means you are just, knee-jerk reaction to something that's going on in your life, you're going to find you have more problems. You can lift your consciousness to respond as opposed to react. I think that's a really good thing to think about. I know it works for me. So today we are going to get into evil. Now, the word evil can be quite terrifying. And when we go back to what we were speaking of earlier about in the lower consciousness, because we are only conscious of when we're in that state of mind, we're in a survival. Everything is about survival. So the word evil connotates pain and suffering and sin and wrong and everything bad. That's all we think about is bad. So the word can be actually frightening. It brings images. What are the images that we have associated with evil? Demons and devils and the pitchforks and monsters lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike and cause us pain and suffering. And it's not that we don't experience pain and suffering through evil, is that we cannot give evil the substance that it does not deserve. Remember, evil is like a false god. It's not an entity. It is a state of being. It is a state of consciousness, and it is an experience. We can have an experience that is evil. Now, what do I mean by evil? It hurts, it's scary, it interrupts our dreams, it wears us down. But that doesn't mean it has ultimate power. Now, in unity, there are a lot of people who don't even want to use the word evil. They say, well, in truth, there is no evil. And when somebody says that to me, I say, tell that to someone who had lost family in the Holocaust, okay? Or, tell that to someone who is experienced life in a cage at the border that taken from your parents. So evil is about things that are contrary to good, okay? So if it's contrary to good, it is therefore evil, but it has no actual substance. That's what we have to remember. It is not an entity, it is a state of consciousness, and because of that, it can be changed. And I want to make sure I'm pointing out tonight that it's not just about our individual lives, because it is individual and it is collective. Yet as individuals, we want to overcome all aspects of what we call evil so that we can have good lives and we can share good lives with others and we can have peace and harmony and all the things we want. Yet as a part of a greater whole, we must participate in the good of the whole. That is a critical part of being a spiritual master. And that's what I'm hoping that you want to get out of our book study, that you want to practice spiritual mastery, that you want to be able to make positive change in the world. Do you? Do you? I do. I live for that because I love you, because I want everything that's good for you and for me, but I don't want what's good for you in place of what's good for me, and I don't want what's good for me in place of what's good for you. I hope you got that. It was kind of complex. So a lot of people that say, well, there is no evil, I don't. But there is. Evil as an experience, okay, an experience of pain and suffering. False gods are thoughts and feelings that are contrary to the goodness of God and all good. Hang on a minute, I got to read my own notes sometimes. Oh, yeah. Evil doesn't look evil. That's the hardest part. We may have these visions of, devils and demons and stuff like that. But evil it doesn't always look that way because of temptation. I kind of see it like, I don't watch many horror movies anymore. I just don't want to put that in my consciousness. But back in the day when we would watch the horror movies, and very often there would be a scene where there would be this beautiful woman, and she would be approaching a man who would, be drawn to her and want her, and there's that scene where she's standing looking out at the sea on the beach, and then all of a sudden she turns around and there's an evil face. It looks so good, but that's temptation, and we always have to deal with temptation taking us someplace we don't want to go. So Cheryl says she's had the same conversation a few times this week. That's interesting. And you know what's good about that? As we work on our spiritual growth and enlightenment and mastery, we will find that the subjects come up over and over again. I hate to tell you this, but it also happens in the other direction. So if we're leaning into temptation, we will have many opportunities. I've always said if you say you're going to go on a diet, the minute that you declare that, what we say in Unity, all that is unlike it comes up for healing. So you go on a diet, and then somebody shows up with your favorite ice cream, and of course you feel compelled to eat it because after all, they brought it for you, right? Okay. In what quadrant of consciousness is our mind when we are eating ice cream that we really don't want to eat because we want to lose weight, but they gave it to us? So that is an emotional response, okay? And I'm not saying you can't have any ice cream. Yeah, absolutely, you get hungry. But you can have a scoop of ice cream and then put it away, give it away, get it out of the house, you know? I very often will take things that I try to give away. If I make stuff, I try to get it out of the house right away, give it away. There's also times when I throw away things, and I feel bad about throwing them away, but I know I really shouldn't have it or whatever. But when I have to throw something away, I say, oh, I'm providing a vermin feast for the vermin in the dump, that they will find it and they go, oh my gosh, that's the best thing I ever had. Somebody loves me. But I mean, that's the whole thing. We can't operate emotionally. We have to operate from our higher consciousness. So temptation looks wonderful, but temptation leads us to evil. Adam and Eve, that piece of fruit looked mighty good. The promise of the serpent said, oh, it'll make you as smart as God. And so they went for it. And what did they wind up with? Well, we in consciousness are descendants of Adam and Eve, and we are having to work out these lessons about what really matters and why you don't want to follow temptation into evil. Charles Fillmore, who is the founder of Unity, as much as a lot of people in Unity will say, well, we don't do evil in Unity. We don't believe in evil. We don't believe in hell. We don't, in Unity, we say that heaven and hell are states of consciousness, which we've been saying for over 100 years. And probably about 20 years ago, the Pope, not this current Pope, the previous Pope, maybe even the one before him, I think just the previous Pope, said that that heaven and hell are states of consciousness. That was good. I like to hear that. So, as Cheryl said, she had the conversation with people several times this week. That's a good sign, because that means that's a wake-up sign. That's a sign that people are oh, aha, I got this. And so do talk about it. And you see, that's where you don't have to convert the world. You don't have to convert everybody to go along with your beliefs. But you can, when God opens a door, step right in. You know what they used to say, the salesman back in the day, they'd knock on the door, and the homemaker would open the door, and he would put his foot in the door so she couldn't close it. That was before the days of all the stuff that goes on today. But he would put the foot in the door so she'd have to keep talking to him. But if the door opens, go in. Don't force anybody. I was in a difficult position the other day. I saw someone I haven't seen in a very, very long time. And it's one of those things where you're friends and you love them and you don't get to see them very often. You don't hang out with them a lot, but they're still meaningful in your life. And we said, oh my gosh, it's been so long. And he said, yep, and even though we don't agree, we love you and we miss you. And I said, don't agree? And he said, politically. And I looked at him and I said, I don't discuss that with my friends. See, because it would have been a fruitless discussion that would have done nothing but estrange us. So think about the opportunities to take a different path, to take a higher road, and not to step into the temptation of evil, because don't we want everyone to believe what we believe? We do, but that's not going to happen. And that's why you don't try to preach to people, but you wait until the door opens and then get your foot in there. So there is a metaphysical understanding to evil. And if you have the book, you can turn to the back where we have an appendix. Hang on, it's back here. And the appendix is the metaphysical definitions of words that are different than some of the common ones. Their essence is the same. If you follow etymology, you'll find that the essence is the same. So, in the metaphysical interpretation of evil, evil manifests through fallen human consciousness. The word evil is live, spelled backward. Evil is backward living. It is all that is not of God. Evil apparently results from ignorance, which is darkness, and when truth is presented, which is light or enlightenment, the evil disappears. The shadow disappears. It vanishes. If we look to cause when experiencing an occurrence of evil in our lives, we have the opportunity to look at it, discern its cause, and change it. It comes up for healing. There is the appearance of much evil in our day-to-day lives today. Sometimes I wonder, usually I wake up and within minutes I feel like I've got a gut punch. It usually has to do with seeing something on the news. At least, and this is, we've talked before about the importance of prayer time. If you get up in the morning and you get yourself a good prayer time going, you are bracing yourself. So when you, should you turn on the news, you will not reel so badly from that gut punch, and you'll be strong enough to deal with it. I mean, it's just a current fact of life. Is God making the evil? Is God punishing us? No, but I think God wants to wake us up. Now, if you don't wake up, when I was a kid, my dad would come in to wake me up to go to school, of course, and he was gentler than my mom. My mom would go, "It's time to get up, get out of bed." But my dad would come up to our room and he'd grab my toe and he'd shake it. It was kind of a gentle awakening. But if I didn't get up, I'm sure it would not have been quite so gentle. And that's what happens. If we don't get it, we call it, you've probably heard me say it before, the cosmic 2x4. That is, the cosmic 2x4 is what every time we feel a gut punch, we are, or evil of any form, it's the opportunity to learn. Look at the cause and then look not to have that happen again, okay? And even if it could be the news, it could be your boss, it could be a rainy day, it could be a flat tire when you go out, it could be a snowstorm, whatever may appear evil. Look at cause and effect, see if it's valid, and see what you can learn from it. Right now, we're learning that there are many things that we cannot control, we cannot change. What can we change? Ourselves. And we can pray for guidance in what is ours to do. I've shared with you before that every day for, I don't know, probably at least 35, 40 years, every day when I wake up in the morning, I do give my life to God, to the will, work, and way of God, whatever that is. You don't have to be a minister to do that. Even if you are agnostic or even atheist, you can get up in the morning and you say, I dedicate and consecrate my life to good, to being the best person I can. You know, God doesn't care whether you believe in God or not. God believes in you. Okay, back to our question of evil. Okay, to me, it is irresponsible and unkind to say flat out that evil doesn't exist. Charles Fillmore was not afraid to use the word evil because what we don't acknowledge, we can't change. But it's not evil. When I say evil, it's not some kind of a spiritual entity or power. It is an effect. Evil is an effect. Behind every effect is a cause. If you want to change the effect, you've got to change the cause. We are all a part of our own destiny. Okay. All right, so it is irresponsible and unkind to deny what is evil expressing. In Unity, we teach and believe that when we transform our mind, evil will disappear the same way darkness vanishes when exposed to light. In the experience that I just shared with the friend who opened the door to a discussion on our political differences, I chose not to go that way. Now, I would even see, if you could see evil consciousness is discord and would like to see us divided. So if we imagine this energy, this consciousness energy of discord waiting to take over, and I simply said, I don't go there. I don't discuss this with my friends, because that's what, I love you too much. That's what protects our friendship. Do what you got to do. Vote for who you got to vote for. I do express my opinion. I just don't discuss it with anybody unless they probably agree with me. Because why would we get into I can't debate. I'm very tempted to say some fresher words. Why would we want to get into a debate with someone that would be fruitless? Okay? It's okay to discuss our differences. That is perfectly healthy, because it's in discussing our differences, not fighting about them, that change can happen. But if you find that you are so divided and locked into your positions, let it go, because the law of cause and effect is going to be in action anyway. You do your part, let God do God's part, okay? Cause and effect. Right now, the fires in California, one of the things that's absolutely being looked at is the climate change that we are facing. Now, scientists have told us this is nothing new. Scientists have told us forever that we have an impact on the planet that is killing it. Why would we kill our source of food and fresh air? It's inconvenient and uncomfortable to change, right? And a lot of us have to deal with narcissism and laziness, which Scott Peck called the two major causes of sin. We'll do sin. That's coming up after evil. So anyway, let's see. No. Well, I just got so far off track, I can't get myself back on, but that's okay, because I have a thing right here. Anyway, to get me back on. So, we do not deny an experience of evil, but we do not give it power to wreck our lives. We may experience evil, but we cannot give it power to ruin our lives. So that's a big thing about evil. Okay, if we think about this, we have to acknowledge evil, and I hate to say this to you, but we have to know we do sometimes do things that are evil. Because we did something evil does not make us evil. Evil is usually a mistake. And that can be that knee-jerk reaction anytime we cause someone else pain and suffering, or we cause ourselves pain and suffering, or we go against the flow of pure being. We have to acknowledge it and learn from it. And I think that's one of our biggest problems, is we don't want to acknowledge our own errors. A lot of times we're embarrassed. We're afraid that we're going to be rejected, or someone's going to get mad at us. So we like to pretend. We like to pretend that we didn't do it. That's not our fault, or it's someone else's fault. Oh, and yes, Cheryl just has pointed out also, I don't know if you can see the comments that come up. I can't see them all, but I see some. But Cheryl did point out that Native people have been trying to tell us about taking care of our planet since the Pilgrims landed. When are we going to wake up? We got the wildfires. We got the megastorms. We got the tornadoes in Connecticut, for God's sake. No, it's for God's sake. Yeah, it is, because God is trying to wake us up. It's not that hard. You know what we have to do? Acknowledge our error, change the cause so we change the effect. A lot of you probably haven't even heard of this particular person, but he was a comedian a long time ago. He had a huge fall from grace, but I think he is picking himself back up. I'm not sure, I just think so, but his name was Pee Wee Herman. And Pee Wee Herman had a few very funny little movies out, and what he'd do is he'd do something wrong, and then he'd go, or stupid was more like it, and then he'd go, I meant to do that. How many times, really, seriously, how many times have you done something, maybe you got caught gossiping, whatever you might have gotten? Usually we don't acknowledge it till we get caught or till we have a negative effect. But we want to say, oh, we make 85 excuses. I meant to do that. It was really your fault. You don't grow doing that. You got to grow by learning to say, I was wrong. If someone's mad at you, the fastest way to take away that madness is to go, I am sorry. I made a mistake. It was my bad. Boy, for a long time in my life, I think I was in my 40s easily, before I learned the power of saying I was wrong. Learn that, and you will be so free from all the angst of trying to make up excuses for why you did something that wasn't right. When we enter a dark room, we turn on a light. Light fills the room. Where did the dark go? The dark isn't. Light is. The dark was just a shadow where the light was not. So, in truth, when we achieve wisdom, every time we achieve wisdom, that dark part of our consciousness, we chase it out with light. And I said it at the beginning of our book study, we are in the greatest challenge of, I don't know, probably time on the planet, because we have a certain level of a consciousness developed. Or maybe there were others like Atlantis that we lost. But we're at such a point of developing that we should know better, and it's huge. so we have to learn. We are in the battle of the children of light versus the children of darkness, which basically comes down to enlightenment versus ignorance. And ignorance is like darkness. When you shine the light of enlightenment on it, it's simply gone. It's gone. It's no longer an issue. A bigger problem than that is ignorance. That's knowing and not doing anything about it, not changing to stop the pain. In the Bible, it says, we cannot overcome evil with evil. Only good can overcome evil. How long ago did they write the Bible? And we still don't get that. We still don't get that. Arguing it's the same thing, trying to fight evil with evil. You try to fight evil with good, take a breath, step back, be compassionate and loving, forgive and forgive yourself when you don't. In these political times, we're going through a lot of well, first of all, there's the misinformation and the lies and the deceit. And one other thing that is very spiritually unsettling, and that is hurtful and wrong memes. I guess I said humor memes. The memes are really bad because they make horrible claims about people that are not true. And this is on both sides. So I'm not taking sides here, folks. Anything that is not true, anything that causes harm to another person out of sheer meanness it is evil. I'm sorry, it's evil. You will never get good by expressing something that is not good. Okay? Someone posted the other day, and it was called an article of satire. It didn't say satire on the article, and it was very derogatory. And it was stupid and senseless once you read it. And I said, that really doesn't help the cause. That really doesn't help to find truth. It's just slapping back in stupid ways and wasting people's times and feeding the negativity that we claim we want out of our lives. As we go through this election season, it's going to get worse. We all know it's going to get worse. But I'm going to beg you at this time not to practice evil. I know it's frustrating, and I know you want it now. Now, there's a difference between making humor, making jokes that are so clearly stupid jokes that they're just stupid jokes, that they do not point out something. And there's times that we just need some, what's that called? Humor. What's that word? Humor relief. What's that? Come on, somebody out here knows what it is. What do they call that? Well, in the Bible it says laughter is the best medicine. So comic relief. Ta-da! I thought of it all by myself. Yeah, comic relief. Every once in a while we need some comic relief. And if it's not intentionally hurting another person, then that's okay. But when it is gossipy, when it is degrading, that is all simply not acceptable. So please do not pass on lies. If you read something that you feel people should know, because I'm very like that. Those of you who know me know that. And if you're watching this, you know me. So I will post things that I have researched that are true, that I think will help to what? Enlighten. I have a page. Please feel free to visit my page, Enlightened Voter. You may not like what you hear that. You may like it, but there's lots of good stuff that no matter what party you belong to, no matter who you're going to vote for, if you go to that page, you will get lots of very nonpartisan tips on how to vote. You may also get information on more personal stuff that I feel it is important for an enlightened voter to know. So you may like it, you may hate it, check it out anyway. And I think, oh gosh, okay, I don't know how long I've been doing this tonight, so but I'm thinking it's a half hour's up, so I'm trying not to take more of your time than that. But you know what? I'm not going to try to go on today because if I get into this topic, I'll be going for another half hour. So better I should encourage you. We've got so much to look at with the topic of evil tomorrow. So who knows? Maybe we'll have to do 3 nights. But thank you for the timing there at 35 minutes, and I'm out of here. So, more evil tomorrow. Anybody up for it? I hope so, because it's a great topic and it's a great way to make our lives better. Thank you for being with me. It means so much, and I pray that you will get even a little enlightenment every time. And one day we're going to shine so bright, we're going to shine the evil darkness off the planet. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow.